Welcome back, everyone. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is officially here, and it is operating on a scale that is just entirely unprecedented. We're talking about a totally new era for the beautiful game. So, we're going to break down the spectacular start to this tournament, dissect those early results, and analyze exactly why this new format is completely changing the game for every single team involved. Let's get right into it. The wait, which honestly has felt like a lifetime for football fans across the globe, is officially over. That giant clock hovering over the iconic Estadio Azteca isn't just symbolic, it's telling us that the new era of global football has officially kicked off. The anticipation has been building for years, and now, finally, the reality of the tournament is right here in front of us. Okay, let's dive into this. For the very first time, we have three nations: Canada, Mexico, and the United States uniting to host. And this isn't just about sharing stadiums. It's an unprecedented logistical and cultural undertaking. We're talking about a truly global party spread across an entire continent. The sheer scale of cooperation required to pull this off is staggering, and it sets the stage for a tournament with a flavor unlike any other. At the very center of this new era is one single game-changing number: 48. The tournament has expanded from 32 to 48 teams. And look, this isn't just some minor tweak to the rulebook, it is a fundamental restructuring of the World Cup's DNA. It means more matches, for sure, but more importantly, it completely changes the stakes, the strategies, and the physical demands placed on the players. We're going to dig into exactly how this alters the competitive landscape in just a few moments. But first, we got to talk about how a tournament of this massive scale actually gets started. The trilogy of ceremonies. FIFA made a really fascinating decision to create an expansive three-part kickoff across North America. The chronological escalation here is actually brilliant. It started on June 11th with the initial kickoff down in Mexico City. Then, the very next day, June 12th, the celebration moved north for the Toronto event, before finally culminating later that evening with a grand finale out in Los Angeles. This rolling wave of opening events perfectly mirrored the continental scale of the tournament itself. And the contrast between these events was absolutely spectacular. First off, you had the vibrant explosion of energy at the legendary Estadio Azteca in Mexico, where Shakira and Burna Boy absolutely lit up the stadium, performing the official anthem. It was a high-octane celebration of Mexican culture that also featured local legends like Maná and Alejandro Fernandez. Now, contrast that incredible musical performance with the beautiful traditional papel picado flag displays and the stunning cultural pageantry that brought the deep history of the region right onto the pitch. But the cultural celebration certainly didn't stop in Mexico. As the timeline moved north, Toronto embraced a cultural mosaic theme at BMO Field. This brought the North American spirit to life with legendary Canadian acts like Alanis Morissette and Michael Bublé. Finally, wrapping up the whole trilogy, the US brought an unmistakable Hollywood vibe to the cutting-edge Sophie Stadium in LA. I mean, they went all out with immersive storytelling and a mega lineup featuring Katy Perry, Lisa, Future, and Anita. FIFA's goal here was incredibly ambitious, right? To unite three very distinct cultures under the banner of one game. And looking at the sheer spectacle of these three events, they absolutely pulled it off. But, as breathtaking as those ceremonies were, they were really just the appetizers. The off-pitch cultural spectacle has now transitioned into the high-stakes on-pitch reality of the tournament. Let's look at the opening matches. Opening matches recap. The smoke, the flags, the absolutely deafening roar of the crowd at the Azteca. And this brilliantly illustrates where the theory of the tournament meets the reality of the grass. The pressure on the host nations in their opening matches is always immense, and setting the stage here just perfectly captures that incredible tension. So how did our three hosts actually fare under all that pressure? Well, it's a tale of three very different performances. First, Mexico rode the massive wave of that Azteca crowd, looking incredibly strong and securing a solid 2-0 victory over South Africa to start their campaign flawlessly. Meanwhile, further north, Canada faced a much more grueling test. It was a tense night in Toronto as they battled to a hard-fought 1-1 draw against a remarkably tough Bosnia and Herzegovina side. And then, we have the United States. The USA made an undeniable, massive statement right out of the gate, putting 4 goals past Paraguay in a totally dominant 4-1 thrashing. It was exactly the kind of high-scoring start that sets the tone for a home crowd dreaming of a deep tournament run. Now, those varied results, especially the high-scoring ones, bring us directly to a crucial point of analysis. We really need to talk about exactly how this new format fundamentally changes the difficulty and the dynamic of the entire tournament. The 48-team impact. So the crucial point is right here in this quote, the absolute desperate fight to avoid an early exit. You see, with more teams, the basic mathematics of the group stages completely change. The pressure isn't just about advancing anymore, it's about not being caught off guard by an underdog who has absolutely nothing to lose. Every single point, and honestly, every single goal differential matters more now than it ever has before. Let's break this down a bit further. If we look back at the 32-team era, the old era, group stages were often these highly calculated affairs. Heavyweight teams could kind of afford to have a slow start, maybe even drop a point early on, because there was a slight margin for error. But this new 48-team era, oh, it's a completely different beast. The expanded field directly fuels chaotic, high-scoring starts, exactly like that 4-1 thrashing we just saw from the USA. Competition is vastly intensified because teams know there is practically zero room for early mistakes. A single stumble in the group stage under this new format can severely complicate a team's path to the knockout rounds, forcing them to play super aggressively right from the opening whistle. And that aggressive playstyle is exactly why you need to be paying close attention as we move forward. Because with the opening ceremonies done, and the first matches in the books, the momentum is literally only going to build. What to watch next? All right, here is what you absolutely need to mark on your calendars. We've got a total of 104 matches taking place across 16 different cities. And guys, the heavyweight group stage clashes are really just getting started. Keep your eyes locked on June 22nd down in Dallas, where we have a phenomenal tactical matchup between Argentina and Austria. We've also got a super intriguing clash between footballing giant France and a highly motivated Iraq squad up in Philadelphia. Every single one of these matches is a critical stepping stone on the long, grueling road to the final, which is going to take place on July 19th in New Jersey. The intensity is only going to ramp up from here. Which brings us to the most important part of this explainer, you. As fans gather around giant screens across the globe, from city parks to living rooms, the debate is already raging. Based on these chaotic, high-scoring opening matches and the intense pressure of this new 48-team format, which team has impressed you the most so far? Are you seeing a clear favorite emerging to lift that trophy in New Jersey, or is this expanded format going to give us the ultimate underdog story? Take a moment, process the data we've walked through today, and let that question sit with you as you watch the next round of matches. Thanks for hanging out with me for this breakdown of the greatest show on earth, and I will see you at the next match.